The other day when I was prowling around in the house next door that's being demolished, I found this nice piece of timber that was buried in the basement and looking particularly untidy. This side of it is not too bad. The other side was actually worse and had some tar or something stuck to it. So I have already, I have already taken to that and cleaned it up. As you can see, it's made out of 3 different pieces across here, and that's as much as I'm going to do to it. I realise it's still got stains and marks and things on it, but that's part of the appeal of it really. And I still need to do the other side, which I will do in a minute. But what I have been doing is preparing some legs for it to go basically across each end, because my plan is to use it on our picnic table as a centerpiece. So it'll sit high, it'll sit, you know, this much higher than the table, and so that we can put salads and condiments or whatever on top of that and still utilize most of the picnic table. That's the plan. And so what I have done now, I'm not sure, yeah, I thought we might have some issues. Let's take these outside. So this is the piece that's going to be the leg, and that will sit about there like that. But obviously I don't want to drill screws down through this way, through up into it. So I have made, I got another piece of Rimu, because this is New Zealand Rimu. Forgot to mention that. So I found another piece of Rimu in amongst my stocks. Let's go back a step. This here is actually door jamb that when we redid our house many years ago, probably, I'm trying to think, 30 years ago. So anyway, this was left over. So what happens is this goes in the door as the door jamb, and then the jib board or drywall or whatever you want to call it slots in to here, and then you don't need to put architraves on the outside to cover that. So this is a spare bit that was left over. What I have done is I then found another piece of Rimu that's even older, because I think it came out of the house when we first came here in 1986. And so I have drilled that. I've drilled this because you won't actually see that, it'll be tucked up underneath. And then I have also drilled this so that I will glue and screw that to there, and then I can glue and screw that down onto there. So I've pretty much done that one, and I've partly done the other one, and we'll see. I will try filming it, but because I have the fluorescent tubes and we run into the issue with the strobe effect, it may or may not be usable. Let's see how we go. Now I have, this is in the middle obviously, and this is, I don't know, 50 mils or so in from each end. But because on this piece of wood, I also need to do it, what I've done is I've come in less, 30 mils I think it was, but I've done 4 screws that go down this way, and then I don't have screws clashing with each other. So let's do this next bit. I've made this not quite as long as these. You can see there's just a slight difference there. Didn't want those sticking out. That's one thing I have actually found with the chuck on this DeWalt. If you do lots of shorts, it tends to unlock itself, which is not ideal. And I haven't really found I have seen people say, look, you wind it down and then you go back one click, but I still seem to have the same problem even if I do that. When I drilled this one, obviously I countersunk these holes, but what I found was, because this is a reasonably hard wood, when you drill through, I wasn't drilling onto another block of wood, and so it burred these holes. So I just went across them with the countersink, but just a little bit, just to clear them so that I don't have any issues with getting it down hard on the other surface when it comes to gluing and screwing it. So I will drill the next one on another piece of wood, and that should overcome some of that. Previous one that I did, I marked it with 2 marks so that I know which is which. To say I had to put much glue on there is probably an understatement. This is always the problem with glue, is that things do tend to slide around. So let's see if we can do this without that happening. By making sure that I get this part square on this face first, that just helps the clamp not move around so much. Or sorry, stop the wood moving around so much. Too much stuff on this little bench. I just wipe down here with a cloth just to get rid of that excess glue, and try not to use so much next time. And also on this side, because I don't want a ridge there. One down. I'm going to oil all of this rather than varnish it or anything. So it's important not to have glue on there. I mean, I will give it another sand because I want to get rid of pencil marks and things, but that will do for now. before I accidentally knock that over, I'm going to move it. Because being glass, it's not going to bounce. I don't really want oil all over those, so, and I don't need them anymore. They were to protect the top. So. Hello? And here is the finished article on its legs. Now if I come down this end, I'm not sure whether it's going to be clear in here, but it's just a beautiful grain and a beautiful colour with the oil on it. So I'm actually quite pleased with that. We'll see, I may need to give it another coat, but it's not going to be out in the weather as such, so it's not a big deal from that perspective. Okay, so it's been a beautiful day. It's now just after 3, so time for a cuppa, and then I'll come back down and pick this up and take it up the top. Bye. Table riser that I made the other day, and this is basically a tag on the end of that to show you that and how it will work. So that's the plan with it, is that it sits on top of the outdoor table, and so you can sit there and put salads and things up on the top here, condiments, even your drink probably, and then your plates and things will sit down on this bit on both sides. So that's what it was for. I have also oiled the picnic table, outdoor table. I keep switching. It's Australian hardwood Quilla, so quite a different wood to the Rimu, and obviously a different colour. I do intend to make a new outdoor table with some timber that I have. This one just doesn't kind of fit anywhere particularly well for us, but that's probably a bit further down the track, that project.